I started Phalloplasty back in March 2020, and we are in March 2022, and we're not even halfway through the process. To put it lightly, the past year has been them trying to fix their F-up. I have a fistula, which is an abnormal connection between my urethra and my rectum, meaning the P-tube is pretty much going through my rectum, which is causing ongoing UTIs, urinary tract infections. At age 27, I am pooping in a bag.
All right, guys, so in this edition of why it is probably the end of times, while we're approaching the end of times, we have a doctor, okay, Miss Dr. Leslie, a TikTok doctor, okay, a doctor that's famous on the internet, on social media, for giving medical advice to people, including minors, or people who may be minors or underage, on the internet. And this doctor has some very disturbing advice for minors or teenagers or people that may be underage that I want to talk about, because this is a disturbing trend that I'm starting to notice by the woke revolutionaries that are invading the medical industry. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can check out my new merch, my donkey pox shirts, the disease that is infecting America, or my hashtag no days off / hard work t-shirts. You can get them at my website, gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code gforemanbcp. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip of this doctor essentially advocating for minors to get gender-affirming health care and going out of her way to tell minors how to get gender-affirming health care without parental consent or their parents knowing about it. Take a look.
Giving gender-affirming care to transgender children is medically necessary and supports their health and well-being. Did you know in many states you can get certain types of health care without your parents being there or ever finding out about it? It's today's Daily Doctor Facts. To figure out if you can get care sans parentals, go to your state health department website and find the laws related to teen health, consent, and confidentiality.
Guys, I'm so sick of this line that so-called gender-affirming care is health care, right? It's health care. And if you're against it, you're against health care for trans kids. When it's like, no. That's not health care. That's woke care. That's what it's called. It's woke care, okay? Because health care for kids with gender dysphoria would be having them sit on somebody's couch and to talk to them about what they're experiencing, figure out what the actual problem is, whether they have, depression, anxiety, something else, right? Maybe it's something else besides that, before pushing a bunch of drugs in their bodies like hormones and puberty blockers, and then potentially pushing them into getting surgeries that are going to result in them cutting off parts of their bodies like their breasts, particularly if you're a minor, okay, and you won't be able to grow back or get back, okay? So don't sit and try to tell me that it's healthcare. It's not healthcare. Again, it's woke care for people who advocate for this type of stuff, who think that there are no downsides to this whatsoever. There are no negative consequences to kids cutting off parts of their bodies or injecting these drugs into their bodies. These drugs don't belong in their bodies, right? As if, again, things don't go wrong, like what happened with this 27-year-old who transitioned from a woman to a male and got a Phalloplasty.
I started Phalloplasty back in March 2020, and we are in March 2022, and we're not even halfway through the process. To put it lightly, the past year has been them trying to fix their F-up. I have a fistula, which is an abnormal connection between my urethra and my rectum, meaning the P-tube is pretty much going through my rectum, which is causing ongoing UTIs, urinary tract infections. And so when I had surgery back in July is when they tried to first fix the fistula from going from above. And so that gave me an ostomy bag at age 27. At age 27, I am pooping in a bag. Right. And And this past week and a half ago, went back in for another surgery to try to fix the same issue, but this time going through the rectum. And so now after that, I had 2 catheters put in, a Foley and an SP. And the Foley catheter is out. The SP we're still rocking with, sadly, to this day. But my warning is that as much as we want to think our transition is about the physicality and making sure that we look the part, there's so much more to being a man or a woman than how we appear. And I wish I knew that back before I had the surgery, because I feel like now I'm living with these issues. I have a hard time getting close to anyone because I feel like during these past 2 years, I've lost a lot of people, whether it's through like falling out or death or so forth. And so I'll continue this on part 2. So continue what I was saying in regards to phalloplasty. It's something that like you need to sit down with yourself, get a pen and paper, and make a pro and con list. The pros of getting the surgery and the cons. But just know there's more cons than pros, in my honest opinion. Because it's kind of like, yeah, like it's cool to look down and see but it's just the fact that 2 years later, I still don't have full feeling. I'll go in for an exam or do testing, and they're like, oh, we're going to grab the phallus, we're going to do this, that, and fourth. And despite them telling me they're going to do it, more than half the time, I don't feel them touching down there. And to me, it's a concern because if I can't fully feel when someone touches me, I'm not going to get anything out of it at all. Especially when it comes to anything like, intimate, being like physical with a partner or whoever. I want to be able to live in the moment and enjoy it.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, this person had a vagina and underwent a surgery to get a penis, and the penis doesn't even work. Okay, which means that it seems like this person has lost all ability to enjoy sexual pleasure because they don't have a vagina anymore, and they have a penis that doesn't work. And you also now have to take a dump in a bag at 27 years old. So again, what was the benefit? What did you get out of it? Now again, this is a 27-year-old. Imagine pushing a teenager or a young girl into something like that. Now, again, places like the Boston Children's Hospital that performs these type of surgeries, that advertise these type of surgeries, they say, well, we don't do it on kids that are below the age of 18. But even still, you are helping push this surgery on kids when they eventually turn 18. Okay, you are pushing these hormones, this gender affirming care on them at a young age to the point where they eventually transition into getting surgeries. And you mean to tell me you think that 18 is an age that kids are still able to decide whether or not, hey, this is something I should do, to fully understand the consequences and the potential long-term ramifications of this type of procedure? I don't think so. Now, even though, look, legally speaking, you can't even drink till you're 21. But I'm even giving you some cushion. I'm giving you some room here because if you turn 18, honestly, I don't care, right? 18 years old, you're legal and adult. If you want to get the surgery, hey, it is what it is. But I still don't think that 18 years old is old enough to make a fully informed decision, okay? I'm pretty sure most of us would consider ourselves to be complete idiots at 18, 19, even 20 years old, right? So with that being said, I think it's bad that you're even pushing this stuff on kids at a young age to the point where, again, when they turn 18, the first thing they'll do when they turn 18, for their 18th birthday, they'll go get their genitals cut off because they want to complete their transition. But see, what needs to happen here, guys, and I've advocated for this, and Ron DeSantis has said this as well too, and I think this is a part of it. These doctors need to be sued, right? The kids that are allowed to go through these transitions, whether it be hormonally, chemically, surgically, whatever, right? If it's done before the age of 18 and they later on regret it in life, they say, I don't want to do this, right? I don't like the fact that my parents and the doctors allowed me to do this. They should be allowed to sue not only just the doctors, but they should be allowed to sue the parents as well too, right? They should be allowed to sue everybody that's involved with allowing that child to go through transition. And these doctors and the parents and everybody involved should have no problem with it. You know why? Because it's gender affirming healthcare to them, right? It's medically necessary. So if it's medically necessary, if it's healthcare, then what's the problem? They shouldn't regret it later on because they need it, right? They need it. They shouldn't regret it. It's not something that, they may be going through something else. They might have something else going on. You know for a fact, right, that this is what they need. So if you know that there should be no regrets, there should be no way this person wants to detransition when they get older, so you shouldn't have to worry about being sued. You should be totally fine with allowing kids to sue doctors if they regret their trans affirming healthcare when they get older, right? They should have no problems with it. But I guarantee you, if you allowed that, and that was a thing, I guarantee you, none of these doctors would perform these surgeries. All of a sudden, they'd be like, hey, maybe these kids aren't old enough to, understand the full ramification of going through some of these treatments. Maybe we should, hold off until they turn 18, right? I'll guarantee you, you can fix this whole problem by just allowing these doctors and these parents to get sued by the kids who regret this stuff. Now, the kids who don't regret it, who go through this stuff, they don't regret it. They live their life as, transgender, whatever. Hey, you can walk free. But I guarantee you, a lot of these kids, a lot of these parents will think twice, right? The people that claim they're so convinced that their child needs this, they will think twice and really think about, does my child actually really need this? Or is it just better to let them wait till they're 18? I guarantee you, you'll have a lot more of that, right? You would nip this problem in the bud, okay? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.